What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Two Sisters, One Book. I'm Carla.
And I'm Amanda. We're two sisters, two moms, tackling one book at a time. What? We finished the book.
We did. I
So,
know. I was like, wow, that's the end of the book. Okay, now book two.
we could have combined the last three chapters
Yeah,
with the other episode, but we're here. We're still figuring our situations out. So,
this is what happens when you do it as spur of the moment type thing. Like, you're like, okay, we haven't read the book, so we don't know what chapters are going to connect, but we are just going to divide them and go for it. And sometimes it
yeah,
works, sometimes it doesn't.
yeah. So this will be a short episode, but then it's okay because then we could talk about the next book that we're going to be rolling into anyways. So we do find out that Evander is going to go home to check out, because I guess there's only one person who he probably really trusts to help him fix his wings and everything. So we do see that he is going to go home, but we also see that he finally came out to everybody to tell them that he is a dragon and his whole story and everything. So
Hmm.
let's dive in a little bit of that situation
Okay.
because I'm not going to lie. I feel like the party who's like, yes, they were only upset for a little bit, but I feel like they had no right to be upset if you
Yeah.
want my opinion. But
Yeah, I agree. I don't think they had any right to be upset. I think it's Evander's choice whether or not he wants to tell people about his shifting abilities. And I didn't really feel that they had the need to be upset about it. Maybe the bond between him and Lyra, maybe being upset the fact that they know if something happens to Evander, something might happen to Lyra, but I still feel like that's their choice. I don't know.
I was like, how many secrets do they have? So the scene started out as everybody was still really upset what happened when they heard the story of the survivor, because there's two survivors. And so they went back to Runa's house, and Runa said, not quote to quote, but she did tell Evander that he needs to be the person before the king named him, which then we found out that he did name him Drake because Drake means like,
So Drake means, because I found it, it's right here. Drake means a serpent, a traitor, a name meant to mark me as dangerous.
so he was named that because he didn't follow him. Like he didn't want
Hmm.
to, I guess, in a certain way, submit to him in a way.
Hmm.
So all this stuff went down. So he knew the Garrick before he was king. He knew how power hungry he was becoming.
Hmm.
So to Evander and probably his hometown, it looks like Evander left right when Garrick became king, is the way I took it. But he was off fighting
Hmm.
his own war.
No, I think you had it perfectly the way you just said it, because it does look like, if we think about it and we look from like the outside perspective and we look in, it looked like when Garrick stepped up and kind of took over in power, that Evander sort of left, right? Like he kind of like just took off. But reality, that's not really what happened. I mean, I feel like what Evander probably went through, he probably had a little bit of like sadness in his heart after everything that happened with his friend. So Evander served under the Ember Sovereign 30 years ago. So he was talking about how he rose up in ranks. The Ember Sovereign was killed on, and I could be pronouncing this wrong, but Vaglin Hollow. So I'm pretty sure, going back and remembering, that's when all of the kind of the rulers came together on that one island. Remember? And they would meet together, and it was like not known when they were
Yeah,
going, right?
30 years
Um,
ago. Long, long
yeah.
time ago.
And Evander had his friend, who was General Theron Fireclaw, had been the one to go with the sovereign. So as we know, that each ruler had brought a general with them. They all brought one. And we know that out of all those people, one general, which we now know I think to be Garrick, is the one who came and just took over and destroyed everybody there and then came back and took over the throne. So Evander's friend, General Theron Fireclaw, was one of those generals that was there that didn't make it out. And so I think Evander had a lot of sadness from that. So basically, everything that happened with his friend, I feel like that just got to him, you know?
Yeah. Which then he didn't want to submit to Garrick. And then he kind of rallied up the people who kind of didn't want to fall with Garrick either. Which, I mean, when we see his point of view, we can see he's doing the right thing. But even if you see his people's point of view, I don't know. I feel like they shouldn't be mad at him either. But now that I'm thinking about it all, if you really want to think about it, I feel like Evander is a higher ranking than Blair is, like by a lot, if you really want to think about it, to me.
Yeah, I kind of think so too. I feel like, and I kind of said this kind of from the beginning. I feel like Lyra kind of rose to being the commander. But I do feel like she gets a lot of her acceptance through Aldi. That's just how I've kind of felt through reading it. But yeah, I also think that Evander is sort of probably, I mean, I'm not saying that they aren't mad at him, like his people, but I also think he's making the assumption that, oh, they're gonna be all mad at me because I basically left. And it's like, yeah, but just like they don't know what happened with you, you don't know what happened with them. So there
Yeah.
could be more to the story. And I think that's what they're gonna find out when they go back to visit.
I think so too. So I'm thinking that he put it all in his head and that his people actually understood why he left. But I'm wondering now, after he was shot out of the sky, as if his people got word that he actually died, you know? So I bet you when they
Yeah.
see him again, it's going to be more of a sweet moment than like a watch me be wrong. And when we read it, they're going to be like, why did you come back here?
They're like, wait a minute, you didn't
Oh
belong
my
here. No, I'm just
gosh.
kidding.
Yeah, right. No, or the person who's supposed to heal his wings are going to be like, you left us. Why? Why? But I have a feeling that that's not the case. That I don't know now. I can't really say that. Oh my gosh. It's like a 50-50 chance.
We
So,
don't really know. We're making the assumptions here.
yeah. But no, I thought it was a good moment that now everybody's on the same page and they all have an understanding. And yes, it was kind of a the what's it called, like a when like reality kind of hits when Lyra was saying that we're gonna split the party, and you need to go back to camp and let them know what's going on, and I'm gonna stay with Evander because I'm bonded to him, I'm mated to him. And Katie put it all in perspective, like if he falls, you fall, which we have seen in some books. When you're mated to somebody, if one person dies, that person dies too, like the thread is like torn and stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm
Now,
wondering
let me ask you
where
though,
that bond is gonna go.
because do you think this bond actually only happened when they fully accepted the bond, or do you think it was something that happened like when Lyra was kind of, back however many episodes ago we talked about how she like fainted and there was like a storm going on in the sky, and like do you think Evander felt that too, or do you think that this connection now, because the fact that they've accepted the bond and they have made it aware to all their friends that they have a mating bond, that now that will take place, that if something happens to one it'll happen to the other?
I feel like Evander did feel that. I felt like because he was probably attached to her emotions too, because he knew when she was scared, he knew when she was hurt, like from the way previous chapters and everything. And I feel like when she did pass out and like all that stuff was happening, I felt like he felt that too. I feel like he's a man of
Hmm.
many secrets. Like, but I feel like the bond got tighter. Like, you know how some bonds, like, they both have to accept it. And I felt like once they just basically Lyra was just like, she finally accepted that bond. I feel like that's when it became more stronger in a way. But I
Yeah.
feel like because Evander, me personally, I feel like because he knows he's more in tune with the bond because as we know right now, he's the only shifter in the relationship. That he kind of already pieced stuff together. But when you try to explain something to somebody, you don't want them to be overwhelmed, and you're like, because already everything he's told her, she didn't believe. So if you really
Right.
want to think about it. So it's like I feel like some stuff he's just gonna keep to himself until she's more accepting of certain stuff, you know?
And it's funny because I actually kind of forgot that they didn't tell everybody that they had a mating bond. Like in my
Only
mind, I think
A.
I was just, yeah, Aldi's the only one who knew. But like, I guess I didn't think about that because I just kind of made the assumption. I don't know. It's like when you're out with your friends and you have two friends who are like cuddling up and like, you're like, oh, they're together. Like, I know something's going on. So even though I know that doesn't explain a mating bond, in my mind, I just was like, oh, they know that they're mated because us as readers, we knew they were mated. I
Yeah.
just didn't, I kind of forgot that their friends didn't know.
If I know, you better know too. No, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of forgot that nobody knew either because she did say like, "Oh, they're all getting used to our secret way of communicating because of the bonds." So then I was like, "Oh, she probably told them and stuff, you know?"
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah.
we also kind of see the same thing with Katie and Misk. Like, um, I think it was some point in in the chapters that we had read where Katie and Misk looked at each other and Lyra says something like, "Oh yeah, they're silently talking to each other," and it's like even though they don't have a mating bond per se, but it's like they're still communicating
But
through just a
how?
look. So it's like,
I wanna know how.
yeah, I
Like, are
don't
they
know.
having a real conversation or is it like one of those things, you know, how sometimes I could give you a look and it's like when we're around my parents or something, it's like, oh, she already knows what I'm thinking, or like, is that what that means? Or are they like really having a conversation? And then A and Nadia have their own language apparently. So I'm just all like, maybe they're all bonded, like, and they do, and they're not telling anybody, you know? See, they all have their secrets too. Look at, I'm assuming all this stuff. Liars.
Mhm.
Hypocrites. But yeah,
That
no,
is so funny.
I want to know what kind of are
Yeah.
they talking? So, but
So
we do see
yeah.
that
Well,
they split
we
the
do.
party.
Yeah, they do.
So it's kind of scary because Nadia kind of put it in a way where she's all like, "We can make it there in a day and a half," but so I could see her like whole thing going down. But we could, if we push through, we can make it there in a day. But if it's crowded with people, or if we run into the king, or if we run into his soldiers, I'm like, girlfriend, why are you jinxing yourself right now? Like, oh my Lanta, why would you say that? So, oh my gosh. So I'm wondering if that's kind of a clue into the next book where the first half of the book is A's team trying to make it back to the camp. And then the second book or the second half is Lyra. See, it could go so many ways. Now it's kind of scary because I'm wondering if A runs into, like, does he ever make it? I know what you guys are gonna say. Read the book. I will. Chill out. Um, are they gonna run into the King's Guards? Are the King and himself before they even make it back to Nathan? Like, or is it Lyra who's gonna run? Like, does he Evander ever get his wings fixed? Like, yes, I know. Read the book. I am. Chill out. I'm just asking.
We were, I mean, I would think that that would be actually be kind of cool. Like the next book would be part Aldi and them trying to make it back to the camp and seeing what they run into. And then we have Lyra and Evander on their journey. So we could have two separate journeys going on, which could be very interesting.
Yes. That
Yeah.
would be
Now,
fun. That would be fun.
do you did you see the choices? So we know that Evander didn't want to go with Evander Drake anymore, right? Because we know that Drake was something that the king decided to call him. And now it makes sense also why he was so like taken aback by when Runa was like Commander Drake. And it's like probably a reminder of like he feeling like an evil side almost. But he decides that he's going to change his name, which I thought was actually kind of cool. And we got three different choices. Do you remember them?
Yeah, I like the one he picked though.
I
So
do too. Yeah, it was Frostrise, Ashthorn, and Ironvale. And he ended up going with Frostrise, which I thought was actually really sweet in a way because it kind of goes to his history of what had happened. Yeah, because it was, let's see, Frostrise perhaps to carry the memory of Frostvale and the truth that I survived it. Because isn't Frostrise where he had gotten hurt?
yeah, the battle and then where he first kind of
Hmm.
interacted with Lyra. Yes.
Yeah, when I think we definitely think that the bond started then. Because isn't that when they started hearing the voices of each other too?
Yes, because they were in close proximity.
Hmm.
which is interesting how that started too. So,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. So that was crazy. So yeah, they all split up. And I guess we're going to have to see what happens.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to find out to see what happens to Ace Party and what happens to Evander and Lyra and everything. It's going to be
Yeah.
a very crazy ride and stuff, but
Hmm.
I do
Yeah. No,
feel,
that was a that was a crazy little end because I feel like it leads you into going, okay, well now we got to get book 2 because we got to see what happens. We got to know because we have so many questions that still need to be answered. Amanda, we need to know obviously more about the prophecy, like the riddles. We need those filled because we still had all those blanks in there. We need to know more about this person that the king is looking for, which I think we can, assume that it's either going to be Lyra or Evander or both. We don't really know.
mhm.
Um, and yeah, we need to know what happens with Evander and his wings. So we have some questions we're going to need answered that we're going to have to read book 2 to figure
Uh,
out.
I have a feeling that Evander's home is going to be able to answer majority of those questions. I don't know why, but I just feel like there's going to be people there who I don't know, because if I'm completely wrong, then I feel stupid. Who
Say
actually
it.
know. I, I don't know. I just feel like they're gonna run into like this person who's actually gonna know who Lyra is, like her family and everything. Because I feel like the farther away from the camp we get, the more knowledge that some of these people have. And I feel like they're not just going to bluntly say, "Oh, I know exactly who you are," but instead of kind of giving her clues. But I have a feeling we're going to honestly feel like Evander is older than what we think he is. I feel like his
Okay.
hometown has been around for a really long time. So I feel like I don't know, because when you think of a dragon, you think of wisdom too, right? So I feel like his people are going to know a lot more and they're going to be able to connect those dots to when where they see Lyra, they're going to be like, the daughter has returned type thing, you know?
Hmm. Well, we do know that I mean, because 30 years ago was when all this happened with the king, and he was fighting in that war. So it's like we know there's some type of an aging process that goes with this because Lyra is older. She's about the same age, I think, as Evander, that we would assume that he is, but knowing that he's a shifter. 30 years ago, this happened. I mean, it's going to be interesting to figure out like his aging process and how that works and how old he actually is.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited to find out. And I'm kind of excited to see if any of our theories are correct. So we will be starting
Oh,
book
yeah.
soon, too soon.
So, yeah, that was quick. We told you guys that would be fast. We just had those last 3 chapters to kind of get us in and wrap that up. But should we talk about what's coming up? Because we actually have some things coming up. And then yes, we can talk about it because our next book, if you guys are watching on video, you can see Amanda is holding up our next book for the podcast. Do you want to read it and talk about it?
All right, so this is Marked by Allison Dawn. We actually met her at the festival we went to here in Arizona. Shout out to Arizona. So that was kind of cool. And she actually has 2 books out. This is the first one. And this is about, I guess, Shadowborn people. No. So they say the marked ones will only bring death and destruction, but what if they're wrong? Blair's town has been whispering of a potential threat. The stories of the looming danger spread like wildfire, installing fear in everyone as she starts to uncover clues to a secret that could change everything. Shadows attack. Forced to flee with Damien, a sarcastic and guarded man bound to the shadows, Blair is thrust into his world, pursued by hunters and weary of the deadly power Damien wields. She discovers there is more to him, the world of Shadowborn and the abilities they wield. While enemies are revealed and secrets start to unravel, Blair must decide if it's better to run from the darkness or embrace it. Yes, this is our next book on the podcast, which we're super excited.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
excited for it. That one's been sitting on my shelf for a hot minute. And I know you and I were like, do we read it or do we read it for the podcast? What do we do? And we're like, we'll read it for the podcast. And didn't we got this book like back in February. So it's been months where it's been sitting there. And you and I are like, we
uh,
want to read this book. So
Yeah, and
I'm
look how pretty that
excited.
is. She did this herself.
It's gorgeous.
So, and I love the way
Yeah.
the cover feels. I'm such
Oh,
a
yeah.
weird person.
Yeah. It's going to be
But
good. I'm ready for it.
this is actually the last book in our lineup. So I guess we got to start drafting out our next lineup, huh?
I
So
know.
that's
Yeah. So
exciting.
if anybody has any suggestions, let us know. We have a couple books we looked at, I know, for the podcast. We won't talk about those here because it's more fun to make you guys kind of figure out or think about what we could do. But we are open to suggestions. If there's any that you guys are like, we want you to read this book, comment it, message us, email us, whatever you want, because we can look through those and kind of decide. And yeah, we'll have to do like a big announcement later once we decide what our next lineup is. But we've had these books lined up for months now. So I'm excited to read it. And I know you are
I
too.
know. I'm excited
Yeah.
too. Yes.
So we also
So,
have some exciting stuff coming up as well. We have two exciting interviews to give to you guys that are coming up. So, first interview that we've got coming up for you guys is going to be with Candace. If you guys don't know her, she is from the Indie Author Insider, and she has her very own podcast, and she also has her very own online shop. So, you guys need to go check that out. So, we have that interview coming up for you guys. You will be able to listen to that. We interview her, we talk with her. She was so much fun. We had a great time chatting with her. So I can't wait for you guys to
yes.
listen to that.
So the indie
Yes. And
author, you should definitely sign up for it because that's how you find all your fun indie authors and you get to support them too. So
yes, yes, definitely be sure to do that. Um, and then we will have an upcoming interview with Elle Clausen, who is the author of the book we just finished, which is The Ashes of Aaron Fire. So that will be coming up soon as well. But yeah, we've got a lot of exciting things coming up. I hope you're ready for all of it, Amanda.
yes, and school's about to start too. So it's gonna get crazy around here.
I know. Oh my
How
goodness. So,
exciting.
but yeah, that was good. Is there anything else you want to add before we end the episode?
No, but we love you guys.
We do. So if you guys are not already, make sure that you hit the subscribe button. If you're listening to us on Apple or Spotify, make sure to also leave us a comment. If you are watching us on YouTube, make sure to hit subscribe, make sure to leave a comment, and make sure to hit the bell so you guys never miss an episode. Make sure to be following us on social media. We are on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And just make sure you guys go and give Elle Clausen a follow. She is on Instagram and TikTok as well. Go ahead and let her know that you guys read this book with us. Make sure to leave her a review on Goodreads. I know they always appreciate that. And yeah, I guess other than that, make sure you guys grab that book Marked by Allison Dawn, because that is our next one. I think you can also get it on Kindle Unlimited. So make sure to check that out as well. But other than that, I guess we will see you guys on the next episode. Bye.
Bye.